name is Kyle, and I would like to take you on a video tour of the stereo system I've installed here in my 2008 Polaris Ranger RZR. I put this system in just about a year ago, and at that time I did some research on the internet to see what was available as far as products and different enclosures, as well as to get some ideas from other folks who had also done stereo installs in their RZRs. Unfortunately, there wasn't a lot of either. Kicker did, at that time have some speaker pods that were available, one that mounted above here, and then a couple single pods that mounted under the dash. It really wasn't what I was looking for. I decided to go with a mid-high speaker that was completely enclosed. In fact, I had a pair of them laying around, so it worked perfectly, and I'll show you those a little bit later. And I also knew I wanted a subwoofer, and unfortunately at that time there really wasn't any custom-made subwoofer enclosures specific for this vehicle. There is one now that I've seen, which does look pretty nice. Also, I had to kind of decide what equipment I wanted to use as far as amplification and processing and playback. I decided to go with just a single 4-channel amplifier, use 2 channels and bridge them to run the subwoofer, and the other 2 to run my mid-high speakers. I decided not to go with a conventional head unit because their biggest limiting factor is their power. I never would have been happy with the output there, and as well, I didn't need the AM/FM tuner, the satellite tuner, or the CD player. So going with just an amplifier, speakers, and subwoofer, worked out best for me because all I really wanted was my iPod to be able to play back, and that's also going to give me the best sound quality. So. Now we'll head under the hood here, and I'll show you what I've done as far as the installation of the amplifier, and then I'll bring you under here and show you what we've done for speakers and subwoofer. Alright, here we are at the front of the vehicle, and just under this cover here is where I've chosen to mount the amplifier for the system. And for this installation, I went with the Alpine PDX 4.100. 4-channel amplifier, produces 100 watts per channel at both 2 ohms and 4 ohms. Some of the reasons I went with this specific model is that it's a Class D digital switching amplifier, so because of that, it's very small, lightweight, and doesn't produce a lot of heat. I also like that this model offers some decent crossovers and some gain structure that allowed me to tune the system to my liking without the need of the processing that you typically have in a standard head unit. As far as the installation in here, I wrapped it in this large, kind of a heavy plastic bag, and then mounted it, taped up the holes, and kind of ran all the cables out one side, zip tied it, and ran the cables through the firewall here. It's not the prettiest thing, but it has kept it out of the weather, and I haven't had any issues, and it's worked pretty well. So next I'd like to take you under the dash here, and I'll show you where I have mounted the speakers and the subwoofer. Alright, here we are under the dash, and this is where I've mounted my 2 main speakers as well as my subwoofer. These speakers here are just a couple of Yamaha all-weather speakers. I happen to have them laying around because they used to be installed in my shower. I painted them black. They used to be white. I used a hammerite type material. It's very durable, and it matched the rest of the vehicle. I mounted them easily with a couple of large bolts and fender washers, with the yoke mount that was already included in the speaker. As far as the subwoofer enclosure, my friend Richard helped me construct that. It's made of MDF. It's mounted with a couple of U-bolts up top here and some large bolts with fender washers through the cabinet and firewall, and also finished it in the same hammerite material, and it's actually held up pretty well. The woofer itself is a 10-inch Infinity reference series. I do know that enclosure is not the ideal airspace for it. It's obviously not going to play as loud or as low as it could, but I didn't want to make it any larger and cause any obstructions down here with the gas pedal or the passenger's footrest. So I kept it small, and actually it turned out that it's got a pretty tight and kind of musical bass response. So I'm happy with it. So now I'll go ahead and show you what I've got, for input as far as the iPod and volume control, and I'll go ahead and play some music for you. Okay, so when it comes to playback for the system, my only source is the iPod. So it's just as simple as reaching up here in my cargo pocket, pulling out my RCA to 3.5 millimeter cable plugging into the iPod, and this cable plugs in here to a RCA line level attenuator, so this gives me a little bit of volume control without having to take the iPod out. Just makes it a little more convenient. Unfortunately, I don't have any way to control tracks, forward and back yet. I just haven't looked into getting a device that could plug into here and maybe have an RF remote. That would be nice. So once that's planned, I typically just place it in the pocket here, zip it shut, and I've still got my volume control, and it works pretty well. Alright, so to turn the system on, very simple. I've got a 12-volt switch here. I just lift the cover and flip the switch. It's illuminated so I can tell that it's on, and it's ready to go. So I'd like to go ahead and play some tracks for you. I've got a variety of hip-hop, rap, some country, and we'll see what it sounds like. I know you can only tell so much from recording on a video camera, but we'll see how it goes.
Will we
Okay, well, I hope that gave you a little bit of an idea of what the system sounds like. I know it's difficult on video. So as part of that installation, at the same time, I also installed a security system to make sure this equipment stays where it is. It's armed with a key fob, like any other car alarm. Once it's armed, it's indicated with this LED here, and as soon as I jar the vehicle, it will go off. Adjust the sensitivity and whatnot, so when we're in really windy conditions, I'll lower the sensitivity so it doesn't go off all night. So one last thing I'll do is I'll take you under the seat here and show you just some of the simple wiring into the battery for the 12-volt switch, the security system, and the amplifier. So to access the battery and connections, you simply pull the lever at the back of the seat, pull it out. And here you'll see on the hot terminal is the main power wire for the amplifier with its inline fuse. I've also got a smaller gauge wire here that runs forward to supply power for the 12-volt switch for the amplifier as well as the alarm. And the ground wire for the amplifier is actually on the chassis up front. And put the seat back on. Just simply hook the front tabs on, drop it down. So I hope this video tour gave you some insight as to the system that I've installed and how it works. And if you guys have any comments or questions, please feel free to ask. I'm more than happy to offer any suggestions or comments with a project that you're working on. Or if you notice something here that I can do to improve what I've done, please let me know. And thanks for watching.